Hello everybody, Travis here for Tpull's Corner with the new deck. I think this one veered off the rails from my original conception. I was going to look for some lesser used Phyrexian cards, and I was looking at Orzhov colors, and I got distracted by the gold colors, the white and black combined cards. So there's a little bit of Phyrexian flavor in here, a tiny bit of poison, but mostly just like a gold tribal Orzhov kind of thing. So let me go through the cards. If there's one concept that kind of emerged from it all, it's trying to use the sacrifice effect. And so we have Diabolic Intent, so that we can sacrifice a creature and go look for a card. We've got Jadar, Ghoul Color of Nephalia, two of those to create the zombie creature tokens. We don't care as much about attacking them attacking with them, as much as creating sacrifice fodder for other effects. 4 removals as usual with Sheoldred's Edict. Whenever I'm playing black, this is my go-to card. Well, nice little utility card. Elis Il-Kor, 4 copies of the legendary Core Cleric. 2/2 with Death Touch. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain a life. When another creature dies, opponent loses 1 life. We have 4 copies of Invasion of New Capenna now. When it enters, you can sacrifice an artifact or creature, and when you do, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls, which is kind of nice because black doesn't normally have a way to get rid of artifacts, but when you combine it with white, suddenly you get these kind of things. If we get rid of the battle, it becomes the Holy Frazzle Cannon, and then whenever a crypt creature attacks, you throw a +1/+1 counter on that creature and each other creature you control that shares a creature type with it. Made for Sacrifice, the Etched Familiar. When it dies, opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. You want this thing to die. 1 copy of Legions to Ashes. I only have 1 copy right now. You exile target non-land permanent and all tokens with the same name. So if they go wide with a bunch of 1/1 tokens, maybe we can nip that in the bud. 2 copies of Aaron Benalia's Rune. Phyrexian Human, 3/3 with Menace, and you can sacrifice another creature, give it a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. We have Rhea Ivor, Bane of Bladehold, 3/4 Phyrexian Knight with the Battle Cry. Whenever it attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1 till the end of the turn. Plus, if you want, the next time you designate a target creature that would deal combat damage, you prevent the damage. Instead, you create the 1/1 Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens that all have Toxic. So if you don't want to deal with damage, but you want to create a whole bunch of mites and go the poison route, that gives us an option there. 4 copies of the enchantment Sculpted Perfection to give every Phyrexian +1/+1. And I do have a lot of Phyrexians here. Jadar is not a Phyrexian, but Elis Il-Kor is a Phyrexian. Aaron Benalia's Rune is a Phyrexian. The Etched Familiar is a Phyrexian Fox. And Rhea Ivor is a Phyrexian Knight. We have 2 copies of Drana and Lindvala, Vampire Angel. The flying and vigilance and activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated, but we get all of their activated abilities instead. And we can spend mana as though it were men of any color to activate those abilities, which is very convenient because not every card does that. This one does. We have 1 copy of Spirit Sister's Call, so at the end of at the beginning of our end step, we can take a card that's in our graveyard and bring it back. We just have to sacrifice a permanent card that shares a card type. So if we want to bring back a creature, we got to sacrifice a creature. If we want to bring back an enchantment, we got to sacrifice another enchantment, that kind of thing. To help get things out of the graveyard in the first place, we've got 2 copies of Liesa, Forgotten Archangel, Legendary Angel, 4/5 with Flying and Lifelink, and whenever another non-token creature you control dies, it goes back to its owner hands at the beginning at the next end step. If a creature an opponent controls dies, you exile it instead. And finally, I have 3 copies of Kaya Intangible Slayer, a hexproof planeswalker that we usually use the +2 on, but we can use the -3 to exile a pesky target creature or an enchantment, and we get a token that's a 1/1 spirit creature with flying. For the lands, we've got hardly any basics. We've got 1 Restless Forest. We've got a bunch of duels with the Shattered Sanctums and Sunlit Marshes. We've got 2 Field of Ruins, 2 Plaza of Heroes because we have so many legendary creatures. We can protect them if we have enough free mana. And 2 copies of Seed Core in case we do get the poison going. We can give a creature a +2/+1 till end of turn with it. That's the deck. Because of the Sculpture Enchantment and the sacrifice theme, we are calling this Artistic Sacrifice. That's the name of the deck. let's go in and see what we can get going with it. I mentioned recently we just hit 300 subscribers, starting to go over. It's kind of cool. So thank you all for coming along on the ride and continually coming back to check out the new decks. I'd be playing this stuff regardless, but it's been fun to share. So if you are new, go ahead and consider subscribing. And allegedly, the likes are helpful, so everybody go ahead and like if you would. We're ahead on life, we're winning, woohoo! Oh, they matched us. That was quick. You can't bring out Invasion of New Capenna really until we have something to sacrifice. Let's start with Sculpted Perfection. They get to see what I have. They're going to take the other Sculpted Perfection, aren't they? No, they take out the Invasion. Okay. Yeah, let's do another one of those then. Put out the Seed Core. I think I kind of like that better, unless they have just this really awesome bomb of a creature. Oh, they do have a haste attacker. Ah, but I have that. And they're tapped out. So a new invasion comes out. We'll go ahead and sacrifice that. I probably should have attacked first, right? So I messed up already. But we'll go ahead and exile that so we can bring it back either. And we'll bring down Mirrex, and we'll go ahead and activate this other one. And attack. And we'll go ahead and get this now. Ta-da! You got to make sure to click on that. There are a number of people that weren't used to this from March of the Machines. They would hit the battle, they'd take away all the points that the battle had, and then it would show up and they wouldn't click on it, so they wouldn't really cast it and it would go into exile. So the Tireless Hauler. That's some pretty tough stuff. Let's put a little Death Toucher out there. How much to put? Just one to equip this, huh? So I should have already equipped it. So I messed up yet again. It's like a second misplay already. And now we're floating out. Okay, so we'll bring this down. Why did it do that with the Plaza of Heroes? What is wrong with you? Why would you do that? It's a legendary creature, so we'd like, ideally, not to use this. Enable us to exile the land, get Hexproof and Indestructible. We'll go ahead and create some Phyrexian Mites. Bad to start with, right? They can't block, but yeah, let's do this. Sweet. Get started on the poison. Yikes. Okay, don't have enough to protect LSL Core. But luckily, they're drawing just as much land as I am. Ah, never mind. They're killing it. They killed it! I will take that bet. You're already tapped, so you can't use that to deal damage. Oh, they're going to card draw instead. Oh, and I've got a 5-er. Because I have 3 copies of Sculpted Perfection out by now. You get your card draw. Ooh, that's a nice card. Again, should have equipped the cannon. I'm playing super sloppy tonight. Do not have me enter a tournament today. Okay, which enchantment do you get rid of? I'm not even using the cannon. You sacrifice the Liberator to get rid of the cannon? Oh, you sacrifice it to get rid of the Phyrexian itself. Okay. It's not nighttime, so they can't beef up Tovolar. Because he's the Dire Overlord, not the Midnight Scourge. So we pump you up. We go in for the kill. You got a chump block. And you're not strong enough to survive. Unless you have a battle tactic. Well, if they take out the might, I'm back over 20, and we can create something here if we need to, any second. So even if they have a way to get rid of Liesa, we're pretty much golden. And this is the key, 4 copies of Sculpted Perfection, and if they don't have a way to get rid of enchantments, we built up pretty well. Good odds of getting 1 or 2 of those every single match. It would be fun if I could get all 4. It would be good if the computer would process things enough. Stop hesitating. I'm wondering if there's some sort of extra draw when I hit the record button that does that, because it doesn't halt quite as much when I'm just doing my playtesting. Everything wrong always happens when I hit the record button. That's when I find out NVIDIA did a software update, or the whole arena freezes and can't contact the server, or I lost my audio, or the opponent ropes me. You know, there's always something. Let's see core first. I've got so many special lands in this deck. I think we just bring down the Etched Familiar. Seems like a fair thing to do. What are you looking at my lands for? You got land destruction? Counters. Gross. Grody. Let's try Sculpted Perfection. No attacks just yet. Kind of waiting for a dual land so I can go get a swamp. Sweet. With Mirrex, you can have men of any color you activate only if Mirrex entered the battlefield this turn, so I'm kind of waiting because I don't need more than 4 at this particular moment. Killed my Imbecile core. They're not going to attack with anybody, are they? They are! Let's do this. The familiar's still there. I don't have any graveyard hate, so that may have been an oversight on my part. Let's see, we could sacrifice a creature there. I feel like it's okay for me to attack with the Etched Familiar. Are you willing to give up your creatures now? You're just going to chump block with 1? Ah. Okay. That kills my guy, doesn't it? Okay, but you got to sacrifice somebody. You're losing somebody here. That way they still lose 3 life, I gain 2. Toxrill, gross. Ugh, they used the power of Cammy. 3, 4. Oh yeah, because Cammy's 3. That gets their bomb out quickly. And I didn't really get what I wanted. But that comes in tapped, so now... Oh shoot. It's not going to let me do it. Okay, well... Lose somebody else, preferably Cammy. They pointedly do not get rid of Cammy. I didn't... Seedcore can give me one of any color, because this isn't considered a Phyrexian spell, so I might not have anybody to sacrifice. Because this happens at the beginning of each end step, so these are going to die. They're both going to die. I don't have any sacrifice fodder now. Okay, so if I make another one, and I have any color that I can create, I'll sacrifice you to exile you. And at least we exiled the Toxrill. But we're kind of flooding out now. And they've got somebody just as big and bad. Oh. Oh, I think we're going to die. I didn't include any board wipes in this version. Oh, come on. Really? Yeah, and I can't block, so everybody gets trampled as well, not that they needed it. I don't know why they didn't just attack with Cammy and win the game. Well, they would have got me down to 1. Yeah, I can't do anything else against that. I mean, I could get rid of Zopandrel. That would not save me. But I got 8 lands and they got 5, and they did everything they could with the 5 lands, and Cammy beefed up. And that's a possible indication that I've got too many special lands and not enough basic plains and swamps in there to give me the right color when I need it. Maybe it would help if I stopped lazily depending on the auto tapper and actually manually tapped things for a change. Maybe I could have gotten the right mix. Do you have enough cards, Stavros? They have so many cards, they're busy counting them right now. They're not paying attention to the game. They haven't even gotten to the point where they're choosing the mulligan. But we are working, so it's not us. There we go. They did take a mulligan. Common for 250 card decks, but then they might get the perfect mana curve. Hello. What nefarious aims do you plan for? You with your overgrown farmland. I have a legendary human wizard. He's bringing company. They've got 3 colors already. What do we want to do with that? I think Elisial Core. We attack with this puppy. It's gonna die. You might as well block. It'd be to our bonus if they just take the 2. If they're afraid, we have only got 1 Field of Ruin there. They should, yeah, they should feel comfortable blocking. It will die, which means the opponent loses 1 life anyway, thanks to Elisial Core. So, nice little combo there. Plus, the token gives us another life, courtesy of Elisial Core. Nice little combo between these two, in case you hadn't used it before ever. Something to keep in mind for your future deck construction. And if the land is tapped, it doesn't matter if it has haste, because I still wouldn't be able to attack with it as long as they used it, tapped it for mana earlier. Oh, this might work. This might work against the humans. So we're just going to do this. I'm actually going to hold on to a Ganjo. I know that's debatable. But I'm a far cry from Kaya right now. Everything else I can cast with what I've got. And they're still losing 1 life apiece while I'm gaining 1 life apiece. And they've got some work to do. Unless they have a board wipe, they've got some work to do to clear this field. That's a sorcery. So I'm fine with that because they're going to get 3 tokens for... Oh, hello. Never mind. Okay, new plan. Again, blah, 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 whenever deals damage. Okay, that's the right Elesh Norn, so to speak. We sacrifice the zombie. We exile Elesh Norn. They tapped out to put it out here. None of your mythic rare stuff early in the game, Mr. 250 card deck. We'll just forgo an attack this time. Okay. Now that's a human. It's a monk, but it's human. So if I get rid of... No, it's got to be the same name, right? They don't dare attack. So they're going to get the 3rd token here, and they'll all turn into 2/2s. I could just get rid of the wedding announcement itself, but I feel like this might be better. Yeah? Opponent appreciates that. Who said wedding announcement needs to be banned? Do you want a chump block to delay the battle? They want to get rid of my familiar. That costs them an extra couple of points. They're still going to lose another life point from my token dying. But I mean, they're going after the permanent as opposed to one they know that's leaving. Nobody cares about your tokens, about your counters. This is why we held on to a Ganjo. Nice. Okay, so to handle that, we have another invasion of New Capenna. We sacrifice you, we exile you. No attacks, pass the turn. Gain a life, 29 to 13. Ooh, hello. We're starting to get tricky, are we? Sacrifice somebody. Has to be one of the three. They can't get rid of the 2/2 token human. This is not a token, it's actually an enchantment creature. You gotta pay attention to the way the enchantment sagas are sometimes. Sometimes they give you a token at the end. Other times they transform into a creature. So you don't get that. They can still add a counter with the one remaining land they have left. And nobody is indestructible now. Okay, we're going to use a Ganjo. First we see if they chump block with the human token. Oh, that was the wrong thing to do. It only cost me one because I have legendary creatures. I have 2 legendary creatures. That made casting a Ganjo really cheap. And now you're going to lose Remnant of the Rising Star, so whatever other creatures you bring in, you can't pump up with counters. We're just gaining more life every second. It would be nice to start getting more land. I did want to play Kaya tonight. I don't care about winning anymore. I just want to get Kaya on the field. A duplicate of somebody I didn't need. Okay. Going after this again. See if they block with the 3/3. Had to get a token, didn't you? Now, do you actually fly over with the Phantom and start pinging me? They might. They might try that. You can try. Make it a 4/4. Good. Good, Stavros. Now attack. And lose it again. My removal's coming in clutch today. It's half my spells so far. It's just the one spell. Okay, we're getting closer to Kaya. We do the normal thing. Death by 1,000 cuts here. Do I have a trick? They don't want to risk it. So every turn they are losing 1 life, I am gaining 1 life. Sweet. Aha! I have the activated ability now, don't I? Plus I have flying, so there's that. This is usually when they scoop. They'll get 1 more draw, right? They want to see... They could do a card draw, too, there. And wait and see what else extra they can get. They're blocking with the expendable token. They're not blocking with something that gives them mana generation. And they actually, after all that we've done against them, we've done some exile here. So they don't have enough creatures to get the bonus for the taxidermist yet. Siege Veteran, does that change the game for you? They don't want to be attacking. Okay. So I've got 5, 6. I've got 6 mana. I was supposed to attack with Drana and Linvella against that. So, another misplay. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and get rid of your card draw. So that removes that option. They really can't afford to be attacking anyway. And yeah, you don't have enough mana to... Because that had summoning seconds, right? Yeah, so you couldn't use that. So we... I don't have enough basic lands. I got rid of 1 of my mana. I forgot. What? Do I not have any plains or swamps? Did I get rid of all of them? Yeah, I need to fix that. Before I publish the deck list, I'll go in and I'll change up the land a little bit. I don't need to have quite that much variety in terms of the lands for making sure I choose white or black. I mean, Kai is the most intense with needing 2 white and 2 black mana. But yeah, I could get rid of 1 or 2 of the tap lands somewhere in here and get basic. Okay, Travis, stop crafting decks after midnight. I made this last night. I did 1 play test before I went to bed last night, and that was all I did. And them losing 1 health per turn is, we're getting a little slow here. I'm going to run out of time. Okay, so I lose my flyer. They're attacking. Wow. They did the math. Took you long enough to show up. They're digging for answers. Another counter. Come on through. Ooh, I could go search for a specific card. I'd probably just go search for land. What do I have in my deck that I can cast for 4? That's 5. Is it just as simple as getting an Etched Familiar? We are kind of land-starved a little bit here. Aha! Sweet. We'll just keep Jadar as a blocker next turn. They don't want to let us through and get the equipment, but it's costing them a life point each turn. Still over 20. Aww. They're going to gain life from that. They finally got enough removal spells. I don't have enough to deal with everything now. I can bring you out. Oh, gross. How's that for a top deck? We just lost. Yeah, that's not gonna be enough. We can bring this out. But I no longer have Elisil Core. And 2 Kayas that ended up being dead in my hand. And if I'd had a basic Plains or Swamp from the Field of Ruin that I used earlier, I would have had enough. And no matter what, they have lethal. Ugh, so disgusted with myself. Oh, that took way too long. And I gotta fix the lands. And I gotta get some sleep. Artistic sacrifice. It turns out the sacrifice was all me. Alright, once I fix the lands, we still would keep the 2 Field of Runes in there. We'd probably get, at the very least, take out a few of these, get at least 2 plains and at least 2 swamps. That would be a good start. What else would you do with this deck? I kind of like the 4 Sculpted Perfections. I think I'm going to keep this and tinker around with it somewhere. I'm not sure if I'll switch out any of these cards. The big stopping point is I have 3 copies of Kaya, and it's possible that just having a base of 24 lands with no mana dorks to help me out. We've got the possibility of extra mana there if the opponent has some mana generation with Drawn in Linvala, as you saw. It still wasn't quite enough. But again, that was due to my own oversight. I didn't realize that I had chosen enough of the specialty lands enough that the auto land sorter actually canceled out all of my plains and swamps. Didn't even notice it at first. But Elysale Core was certainly a champion. And the Sheoldred's Edicts came in really handy. And the combination between Jadar and Elysale Core was really great. And maybe I searched for the wrong card with Diabolic Intent. But there's a few other cards here, like Rhea Ivor I want to get out and play with. I want to play with Spirit Sister's Call. Need a little bit more showing from Aaron. And I do want to get with a Kai out. So I'm going to keep the deck. I'm going to keep playing with it. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. As always, like and subscribe. We'll do something different next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.